Hello students, in this video we see how session variable works inside ASP.NET website. This is the second video on session variable, and inside session in first video we have already seen how session variable works, and if we want the session values as cookieless, as we have already seen, there is one cookie created for storing the session ID, and this is the session ID stored inside this cookie. But if we don't want to store the session ID value inside cookie, then we can set the property inside our ASP.NET website, inside web.config, and inside session system.web tab we enter session state, and here I am adding cookie less session state, and cookie less property we are setting to true. So if I set this property as cookie less true, then what happens? We see I am running this application once again. Now there is no any cookie stored. Here I am deleting this cookie which is already created, and this is our home page. I want to run the session demo, so I am once again running the application. Now this is first time I am clicking on next value, then second value, third value, go to next page, then we are on get session value page, go back, then again we are seeing our session value inside label. Now if we clearly see the URL, here is one value which is our session ID. Now session ID is not stored inside cookie because we are setting the property as cookie less true. So the session ID is not stored inside the cookie, but session ID is stored inside this URL. Okay, this is your session ID. And if we go towards the settings once again, cookies and site data, see all cookies, and if I click localhost, okay, there is no any cookie regarding localhost. If I once again going towards the setting, see cookies and site management, cookies and site data, see all cookies, and if I see the local host, okay, there is no any cookie stored inside localhost. We are not seeing any cookie stored inside localhost. So in this way you can store the session values without storing the session ID inside cookie. Now if I run this application by copying, I'm copying this URL and opening the Google Chrome. If I run inside Google Chrome, and if I go towards the next value, then go to next page, that same value I can access here. And if I go towards the Explorer, if I click on next value, then that same value I am seeing here, because my session ID is same for that site and this site. Whatever the browser is there, but session is the same, so we are getting the same shared value inside this browser and this and inside this browser, same value we are accessing. But if we remove the property as cookie less true, then what happens? We see if I go towards the web.config, And if I'm removing this session state and saving my application and running the same application once again, now I'm closing all the windows. If I click on a next value, then our value started from 1, then 2, 3. Now here is not any session ID showing inside this URL. Okay, now session ID stored inside cookie. Now we go towards the cookie. When you click on settings, you see the cookies. Okay, what is this? There is cookies and site permission, cookies, data, see all cookies. And if I click on localhost, there is one cookie value. Okay, this is the session. Now see carefully what is the session ID here. And now if I copy this URL and go towards the next browser, which is Google Chrome, and paste here, and if I click on next value, then this value is 3 and this value is 1. So here the session is different for this Chrome browser, and the session for this Internet Explorer is different. See the session value inside Explorer. Here session ID is this, and if we go towards the browser and see the cookies, go towards the settings inside Chrome. Now I am going towards the cookies, privacy and security. Then see all cookies and site data. And if I search on cookies localhost, then what is the session ID stored inside this? Now these content are different. This content is of a session ID. The value of session ID is this. Now this is the session ID here, and inside Explorer session ID is different, and inside Chrome session ID is different. That's why only we are seeing the different value of this session variable inside Chrome and inside Explorer. Different values we are seeing. If the session ID is same for both the browsers, then only we can seeing the same value. Otherwise, the different value we are seeing on our web page. So this is the whole about session state management. Session values are stored on server side, and session ID only we are storing either on URL or either in the cookie. There is the session ID. Depending on the session ID, that session is maintained for that particular user. If we go towards the view page source, there is no any session value. Only page level state management or view state values we can see inside this page, but server value or session value we are not seeing in this view page source, because the session values are not stored within the same page itself, but server on server the session values are stored, and session ID is stored inside cookie or inside URL. We can see that particular session ID, so that that session is maintained. So this is regarding server state management or session state management in ASP.NET. We can also use this session variable value when we are doing the login functionality. Means when we click on login, then we can store the username value inside that session variable. Also we can store the role of that particular user inside the session role variable, and we can access that role within various pages, and according to the role we can proceed further. Means what is our functionality? If the role is admin, then we want this functionality. If the role is customer or other than admin, then we want to run this functionality. So according to role we can process further. And how we can access that particular role? By using session variable. If we store that role, that particular user's role inside session variable, then we can access that role value on any page of our application. And by accessing that particular role, or by comparing that particular role, we can do further processing. Or by using username, by storing the username or user email or user first name and last name inside session variable, we can display that particular user's name or user's email on this master page. Hi or welcome, and welcome text message is there, and in front of that welcome or hi message there is one username we can display. Okay, on master page. After login, we can display that user's name on master page. Okay, so when user logged in, that particular username we can store inside session variable, and we can display that user's name on this master page. Also we can do the logout functionality. When user logged in, logout button we show inside this master page, and when user clicks on logout, then we remove the username from that session variable. Also we remove the role value from that particular role session variable. Means we expire that session on by clicking on the logout button. So such type of functionality we can do by using session variables and session state management in ASP.NET website. So see you in next video where we can do this whole functionality. Means if the user logged in, and if that user's role is admin, then we go towards that particular master page which is related to admin, and admin menus we see on that particular page. And if user's role is not admin, other than admin, then that user going towards the different master page, and that particular user's menu we see that particular user shown on that particular master page. So such functionality we can do by using session variables or by using session state management. So we do this such type of functionality in next video. So see you in next video. Thank you.